Imagine meeting your younger self. They ask a simple question. Did we buy the house? Did we achieve financial freedom? Did we build the life we dreamed of? You hesitate, not because you failed, but because the future became far more expensive than anyone expected. So why does the future feel so unaffordable today? Most people don't fear today's bills as much as they fear tomorrow's costs. The real concern isn't what life costs now, it's wondering how much everything will cost 5, 10, or 20 years from today. For previous generations, the future often represented opportunity. Today, many people associate the future with uncertainty. Instead of asking what they can achieve, they ask what they will still be able to afford. The strange part is that technology has improved dramatically. Society is more advanced than ever, yet many people feel less confident about their financial future than previous generations did. The future feels unaffordable because people aren't just planning for one goal. They're trying to prepare for housing, healthcare, retirement, emergencies, education, family responsibilities, and countless unknown challenges. For many people, the biggest future concern starts with housing. A home is more than a building. It represents stability, security, and a place to build a life. Yet, every year, many buyers feel like that dream moves a little farther away. Even people who already own homes often worry about future costs. Property taxes, maintenance, repairs, insurance, and utility bills can continue increasing long after the purchase is complete. Education presents another challenge. Many parents dream of giving their children opportunities through learning. However, future education expenses often seem difficult to predict and even harder to prepare for. Retirement once felt like a distant milestone. Today, many people wonder whether they will ever be able to stop working comfortably. The uncertainty surrounding future expenses makes retirement planning feel increasingly complex. The challenge isn't only that these goals are expensive, it's that they often compete with one another. Money saved for a home may reduce retirement savings. Education costs may affect emergency funds. Every decision involves trade-offs. Many people think of inflation as higher prices today, but inflation also changes how we think about tomorrow. Every year that costs rise, future goals require more money than they did before, making long-term planning feel increasingly difficult. Imagine saving for something that keeps getting more expensive while you're still trying to reach it. That's how many people feel about housing, education, healthcare, and other major life goals. Another challenge is uncertainty. People can prepare for known expenses, but they struggle with unknown ones. Unexpected healthcare costs, economic downturns, job changes, and emergencies create anxiety about the future. Technology and social media have also changed expectations. People constantly see examples of success, luxury lifestyles, dream homes, and financial achievements. These images quietly influence what they believe their future should look like. The result is a powerful combination: rising costs, uncertainty, and higher expectations. Together, they create the feeling that no matter how much progress people make, the future keeps becoming more expensive. Many people assume that earning more money automatically creates a better future, yet countless workers receive raises, promotions, and larger paychecks while still feeling financially uncertain. The reason is simple. Income growth and future affordability don't always move at the same pace. In many cases, people aren't comparing themselves to their current situation. They're comparing themselves to the future they expected to have. When reality falls short of those expectations, financial anxiety often grows. Previous generations often believed that steady work would naturally lead to stability. Today, many people feel they must constantly adapt, learn new skills, and navigate economic changes just to maintain their position. This doesn't mean the future is hopeless.
It means the future requires more planning than many people expected. Financial confidence increasingly comes from preparation rather than assumptions.
The biggest challenge may not be the cost of the future itself. It may be the feeling that the future is becoming harder to predict. Uncertainty often creates more fear than high costs alone. Most people imagine the future as something far away, but the future is quietly built through everyday decisions. Small choices repeated consistently often have a greater impact than a few major decisions made years apart. One reason the future feels expensive is that many costs arrive suddenly. A broken vehicle, medical emergency, job interruption, or family responsibility can appear without warning and change financial plans overnight. Because unexpected events are inevitable, financial resilience becomes more important than perfect predictions. The goal isn't to know exactly what will happen. The goal is to be prepared when something does happen. Skills can also make the future feel more affordable. Unlike money, skills often grow with use. New knowledge, adaptability, and problem-solving abilities can create opportunities even during uncertain times. The future becomes less frightening when people focus on what they can control. While nobody controls inflation, economic cycles, or unexpected events, everyone can influence preparation, habits, and long-term decisions.
Sometimes the biggest financial challenge isn't money itself, it's fear. Fear can make people delay decisions, avoid opportunities, and assume the worst. Over time, worrying about the future can become almost as costly as the financial problems people fear.
When people constantly hear negative economic news, they may begin believing that success is impossible. This mindset can discourage saving, investing, learning new skills, or pursuing opportunities that could improve their situation. The future is uncertain, but uncertainty doesn't always mean something bad will happen. It simply means multiple outcomes are possible. Some of those outcomes may be far better than people currently imagine. History is full of people who faced difficult economic environments, yet still found ways to adapt. They didn't succeed because conditions were perfect. They succeeded because they adjusted their strategies when conditions changed. The danger of believing the future is unaffordable is that people may stop preparing for it. The moment someone gives up on planning, saving, or improving, the future often becomes even harder than it needed to be. For many people, the future feels unaffordable because they're measuring it against an old definition of success. They imagine a checklist of milestones and assume that anything less means they've failed. But what if the definition itself needs updating? Every generation inherits expectations from the generation before it. The problem is that economic realities change. A strategy that worked decades ago may not work exactly the same way today. Redefining success doesn't mean lowering your ambitions. It means creating goals based on today's reality instead of yesterday's assumptions. A realistic plan often creates more progress than a perfect but unrealistic one. Some people define success through possessions, others through freedom, flexibility, security, health, or meaningful experiences. The definition you choose can dramatically affect how affordable your future feels. When people align their goals with their values, financial decisions often become clearer. Instead of chasing every possible dream, they focus on the goals that genuinely improve their lives. Here's an important distinction. Something can feel unaffordable without being completely impossible. When people look at the total cost of a future goal all at once, the number often feels overwhelming. The mind sees the mountain before it sees the path. Large goals become intimidating because people compare today's resources with tomorrow's requirements. They forget that growth happens gradually. Skills improve, savings grow, opportunities appear, and circumstances change over time. Another reason the future feels expensive is that people rarely calculate the cost of inaction. Delaying learning, avoiding planning, or postponing important decisions can quietly create larger costs later. Financial confidence often comes from progress, not perfection. People feel more optimistic when they see movement, even if the movement is small. Momentum creates hope, and hope encourages continued action. Perhaps the biggest misconception is that the future must be completely predictable before action makes sense. In reality, many successful people moved forward without knowing exactly what would happen next. Think about everything we've discussed. Housing feels more expensive, education feels more expensive, retirement feels more expensive. Even a simple financial security feels more expensive. But the biggest cost may be something we rarely talk about, the growing belief that the future is slipping away. And once people start believing that, they stop chasing the future they deserve. But here's the truth. The future has always been uncertain. Every generation faced challenges they didn't expect. Economic crises, inflation, job losses, and uncertainty existed long before today. The people who succeeded weren't the ones who predicted everything. They were the ones who adapted. The future doesn't belong to the smartest people. It doesn't belong to the luckiest people. It belongs to the people who keep moving forward when others stop. One skill learned, $1 saved, one better decision. Small actions repeated over time can completely change a life. So maybe the real question isn't why does the future feel so unaffordable? Maybe the real question is what can I do today to make tomorrow easier? Because every strong future begins with a single decision made right now. One day, your future self will look back at this moment. They won't remember every headline, every price increase, or every economic fear. They'll remember whether you gave up or kept going. If you choose to keep going, you're already building a better future. Subscribe to Zahra Invest, because understanding money today could change your life tomorrow.